Hello, my name is Taylor Harper and I'm a student in Dr. Ballard's leadership class. Today I am here interviewing with my good friend Kelsey Young. She has had management experience and I thought she'd be a good candidate for these leadership questions. Alright, Kelsey, number one is, what does leadership mean to you, and list some characteristics?
Leadership to me means being able to perform well and think well under pressure, being able to make decisions, right decisions. Some of the characteristics of being a good leader would be patience, positivity, and good communication skills.
It's important. Is it hard to be a leader for some, and what makes it hard?
It's definitely hard to be a leader for some. Some people aren't cut out for it, and some people have a great knack for it. One of the reasons it's hard is because you have to be able to say no to people. You have to be able to follow your own rules, not your own rules, whatever rules there are. Maybe it's your own. You have to set the good example. You have to follow out with it. And a lot of people lack being able to tell people what to do. And
Think it's hard?
yeah, it's hard. It's uncomfortable, especially like say you're in a situation where that person's older and you have to tell the older person what to do, and it's just not normal for you. Like,
And you're their boss.
yeah, and they have to do it, but it's awkward. Some people don't work well under that.
Give an example of someone who has inspired you to be a good leader.
Meredith Grey from Grey's Anatomy.
I love that show.
It's a good show.
Why is she your role model?
She was just so into her job. She was good at her job, and the show was awesome. That's not a lie, but I just loved it. I loved how much she was into her job and how much she liked it, and in turn, I took it into actual reality, and I started to get really into my job. It was not being a doctor at all. It was not near as cool, but I started showing up early. I started staying later. I made sure everything was on the checklist. I tried to do my very best, everything down to the point. And I did get good feedback from my bosses at the time. They told me I was doing a really good job, so.
So do you feel like this main reason is because of Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah, I know, it totally is.
That's
It
awesome.
definitely
I'll have to
is.
use that. I'm watching it right now, too. Have you ever failed as a leader, and how can you improve as a leader?
I'm sure I've failed as a leader many times. I couldn't exactly give you an example. One of my problems I lack patience for a lot of either when I'm training someone or teaching someone. I just seem not to have patience if I know I've picked up on it fast.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure I've failed some people working under me many times because I just didn't have enough patience like I should have.
So what kind of patience do you think would have helped?
Just the understanding that the person wasn't ready to. I'm thinking of a specific situation.
Mm-hmm.
The person wasn't ready to take on the role or the position that I put them in, and I thought they were, and they weren't, and I got frustrated. And I know I've just taken over several times. You're not supposed to just take over. You're supposed to teach them. You're supposed to help them learn.
So what are ways that you could prepare them to be more better at the position that you put them in?
Either just work closer with them in turn, go over questions with them, and just be very motivational and positive for them. Tell them they're going to do great, because, as long as they do their best, they are doing great.
So take on more like a one-on-one approach?
Yeah, definitely, I would say so.
What does it mean to lead by example?
Lead by example. Basically, do the right thing. Pick the right choice that you know, whatever the rules are, or just for the right situation. You'll be able to take the situation and figure out what's right, and don't be hypocritical about it. Make sure that if you tell someone something, you do the same, and if you tell them not to do something, don't do it. That's basically it.
Yeah. What is the most important quality for a leader to have?
Great hair.
Why is that?
Because if you have great hair, I'm going to look at you more, I'm going to pay more attention, I'm going to want to hear what you have to say.
You don't want to smell it?
Yeah, well, touch it, mostly. Just touch it.
So shiny hair?
No, not just shiny hair, great texture looking hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take notes, people. Give an example of a famous leader and why.
Jim Jones.
Who is Jim Jones?
Jim Jones was a religious leader back in the 1970s, but he sort of went a little cuckoo and sort of became a cult called the People's Temple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was, but he had many followers.
How many do you think?
A lot, tons of followers,
So-
all over.
And just his area and his temple?
Well, there is like different places for it. He created a utopia in like Africa, I do believe, and he convinced 900 people to kill themselves. So he must have been a damn good leader.
How did they kill themselves? And why?
They drank Kool-Aid laced with cyanide. They drank it because Jim Jones was able to convince them that, I think it was, I don't know, FBI or someone people from America were to come over and kill them because in truth they found out about the bad living conditions and everything that was actually going on in his utopia called Jonestown. So over 900 people just straight up killed themselves because this guy told them to.
So why do you feel like he's a leader?
Because he was a leader. He led them. He was had great communication skills. He was able to talk to anybody about anything and make them feel good, and just they followed him.
Which are important qualities for a leader to have.
Yep. And
even if it's for negative.
And I think he had good hair.
We'll have to look at a picture. Do you believe it is more important to get the job done, or should you make sure those under you are happy?
I honestly believe both are just as equally important. I believe the job has to get done no matter what, but you still need to look after the people under you, and if it comes down to it and you know the situation and the person just can't do it and you understand why, they're not just
giving up on you.
They're not just messing around. Then you need to understand that, either cut them some slack, but then you will have to pick up and do the job that needs to be done. You can't leave the job undone no matter what. It's still going to be your responsibility, but you don't want to be too harsh on someone that you've got to understand.
So do you think it's important for managers to be able to do every position that they are managing?
Oh, definitely. You have to be able to take on anything at any time because you never know what's going to happen.
If they say a natural talent, what top 3 natural talents do you think it is important for leaders to have?
Definitely communication skills. You have to be motivational. Skill-wise, I don't know. That's a skill.
So naturally, what would they be good at that makes them, like they're born with it?
Talking, decision-making skills, and confidence, honestly. I don't understand that skill, though. But they have to be born with confidence.
Yeah, so that's a natural talent, though. You could say, because confidence is what helps motivate people.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you, Kelsey, for interviewing with me today. It was a pleasure. Thank you.